Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. Truly excited about this one to have Mr. Guilliaume Wiatr with us. Great guy. Man, neat guy doing some really neat things. And I'm truly grateful to have him on this episode. So first, thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Hey, Chip, it's great to be here. I'm very grateful to be here as well.
Awesome. Well, I know off air, we talked a little bit about, our journeys, talked about your journey and some of the things that you're doing now and how you've gotten to where, you're doing your company. But if you don't mind sharing a little bit about, yourself and what it is you do so the audience will have an idea of who you are.
Okay, so I'm Guillaume. I'm the principal and founder of a company called MetaHelm. And MetaHelm is a strategy consulting firm based in Seattle. And we do something called strategic narrative. Strategic narrative is an approach that I developed over the years. I think it's now 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on building this method to help business leaders align people and accelerate innovation. So I work with a lot of innovators, change makers, progress builders, educators, nonprofit organizations across the globe. My clients are in the United States and also in Middle East, Europe, Asia. And I help leaders who are trying to really put out new offers, new products, build the narrative for their business. So you might hear a little bit of an accent when I talk. It's because I am from France. What does a Frenchman do on the west coast of the United States? I think that's a story I always get asked. Like, what is it that you're doing here? And what I'm doing here is that I immigrated here in summer of 2008. And if you can remember, Chip, and people probably relate to that, summer of 2008 is not the ideal time for a French guy to show up in the US, even if it's the land of opportunity, and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a job." And my English was kind of okay, but not as fluent as it is now. I knew barely anyone because I got brought in by my partner, my spouse. And she's from the Washington area. So I immigrated here right in the middle of the Great Recession, actually right at the beginning. And I had to reinvent myself. I had to rebuild myself, do other things I was not expecting to do, and to go back to my original entrepreneurial track. That's a little bit of who I am.
You had to be strategic about your narrative.
I had, and you know what? It's interesting because at first, my narrative was I thought was going to be, hey, I come from France, I've got all those great diplomas and that great experience. I put this resume together and try to translate my experience. And although there were not very many job opportunities, there were some job openings, and I was job hunting like crazy, and people looked at my resume like, we don't know what this means. Like, we can't read this. Like, we have no idea really. And it's only a few years after living here that what people wanted to hear, they didn't really care about my resume. What they wanted to hear is, how did I adapt to tough time in a foreign country, as you don't know the culture, you don't know anyone, you made maybe a few friends, and you're trying to really fit into the community here. And at the time, I lived in Tacoma, in south suburb of Seattle, very diverse community. And I think that because I was so curious, I had made many friends from many very, very different backgrounds. And that's what people wanted to hear. The human connections I was able to build, not the on paper resume with all the achievements, like all the corporate stuff I had done before.
Yeah. Well, what are 3 things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Well, I'll say the very first thing is to become an American. I now have US citizenship. That's the paper you get, but really what this means for me is a successful, like I say, adaptation, integration in a culture that I truly, profoundly love and respect and defend. And that was not always easy for me, as weird as it may sound. French and the US have had historical ties, but culturally there are big, cultural differences. There are gaps, and so that's number one. My achievement was to be able to find a job, do a career that I love, and make some friends and be respected, but also bring value to the community. So that's number one. The second one is, let's see, recently I published a book, and that I'm super proud. And by the way, I wrote it all in English, which is not my native language.
That's awesome.
At age, what am I this year? I published at age 49.
Wow.
So being able to, to express yourself in a book at that age, people go to school, they go, oh yeah, I took French and then I dropped out. I just, or I took Spanish or Chinese or whatever. Like when you get to that level, you go, wow, I think I have accomplished something. I've mastered another language that has shaped my brain differently. So I'm very proud of that. Another thing I'm very proud of is the connection that I've managed to keep internationally. I still have many friends in France, but also I work with people in other continents. I'm really, really proud when and especially these days with social media, it's really easy. But I remember the days where when you wanted to talk to someone, you could place a very expensive phone call on a rotary dial-up machine.
Yes.
Our young folks here don't recognize what it is. Or you could send a fax to, or write actually an actual letter, a handwritten letter. And so it's easier now, but I still believe that the distance makes it challenging sometimes. So I'm very proud of that too. And how many did I mention?
Yeah,
you asked me for 3, right?
Yeah, you gave me 3. Becoming an American, publishing your book at your age in English.
Yeah. In English.
And then your international connections. Those are definitely 3 things to be proud of. So good. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And such a neat journey that you've been on as well. And so when I listen to you talk about those things, I would consider those to be, hugely successful. So let's hit on success. What is your definition of success?
So for me, success is achieving the version of yourself that you wanted to achieve, doing the things you wanted to do, building the things you wanted to build, which means that for me, success is something you define first for yourself. I see so many people wanting to get a template for success from others. And I think this is a shortcut that can be very dangerous. And I'll tell you, because that's how I started my life. My parents they were very grateful. I was very fortunate. My parents always encouraged me to have a good education, but also they wanted me to do a specific job that they want, that would make them happy, right? They saw me going on a course, on a path that was very much for their own satisfaction, and I thought this was my definition of success, is to please my parents and to do what was kind of said for me or prescribed for me, have a good job, make good money, and so on. And I forgot that first of all, success is about comes from the heart. The definition of success has to come from the heart. And so that's not easy. That's, we're all full of fears, imposter syndromes, limitations. And if you don't, look at yourself in the mirror and say, who do I want to become next? Who do I want to impact next in the future? How do I see myself in 3 years, 10 years, 30 years from now? This is really, really hard. One of the exercises, I know it may sound odd, but someone one day asked me to write my obituary, my ideal.
Yeah, I've
I don't know
heard
if
of that before.
you know that exercise. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of weird. You're like, what? You want me to die?
Yeah.
Like, no,
that
no,
scares me. I don't want to do that, y'all.
I don't want to. Yes. And so that was at first I'm like, well, I don't know what to write. I have no idea. Like, this is hard. I get this is an exercise, but then I find it difficult because I never really reflected on what I want to leave or what I want to do during the short amount of time I spend on this planet. So that's my definition of success, is being able to achieve what you want to achieve, what you set on paper for yourself in your heart that you want to achieve. That's that alignment, right? But it's a definition that is unique to everybody. Some people want to make a lot of money for different reasons. That's their definition of success. Some people want to be like you, amazing educators. That's their like impacting more people. And I've been following your work, Chip, and I see it in the face of people that you hang out with. You impact them, and so. And by the way, I very much relate to that definition of success.
Yes.
So I connect with that. So whatever this might be for whoever listens to us right now, don't wait to find your version of success. And that's the first step. If you do this, I believe you're already at least halfway.
For sure.
Through the journey, I would say.
Yes, and just the fact that you're here and all of us are unique, we're all a one of one, shows you right there that you're enough. A lot of times we think about what are we? No, you're enough. You have it.
Can I share a story very quickly?
Yes.
That conversation makes me think about that.
Sure.
So it's actually the fall of 2008, and I'm in Tacoma. And obviously, I've been applying to jobs as a consultant, and which is my career. And that goes to a dead end, right? I don't get any response. No, there's no way that I can do that at that time in the US. So what do? I just roll up my sleeve and go knock on doors and say, hey, anybody needs help? And in Tacoma, fortunately, I used to live not very far from an area called the Stadium District, which is a little bit of there's a small downtown area with shops, and I ended up finding a gig as a handyman / cashier / gardener / whatever you want for this pharmacy. And so one afternoon, I'm planting stuff, in their planter in front of the store. That was like a half-day project.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so picture that again for context. I'm this business person who comes to the United States to do business, and I find myself planting stuff in front of a pharmacy, right? Because there is no other way I can make ends meet. And I'm still pondering, like, what am I doing here? Did I do the right choice, and so on? This old lady happens to walk by and stops and looks at me and goes, "Are you a landscaper?" And I look at her, and I kind of wait, and I go in my head, well, I'm not a landscaper. I don't have the title of a landscaper.
Yeah.
But to her eyes,
I am a landscaper.
I am currently landscaping. So I decided to say, yes, I am a landscaper based on that definition, that currently this very moment I am landscaping. So I'm a landscaper. And she's like, man, I really like what you do. And in fact, I have a whole garden that needs work, and I'd love for you to come and check it out and see if you can do something about it. And can you imagine, like, if I had said no, that opportunity for me to just find a job, make a little money here and pay for the bills and get into the community and see what value I can bring forth, that would have been shut down. So that was my way to go get it.
Go get it. I love it.
That was my way to go get the American dream, Chip. So I love to share that story because that says one thing, right? It says whoever you are, whatever degree you have, whatever background, pedigree, name, relationship, it's all about where you are, what you do, and what meaning and how you respect what you do in that moment. And fortunately, I had that light bulb voice of God somewhere that came and say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes to that lady. And the rest is history.
That's awesome. Well, before we get off, as we close, if you don't mind sharing with the audience where they can go follow you and check you out and show you some love with all of the amazing things you have going on.
A couple of ways people can find me at, if you go to your web browser and type in strategicnarrative.com, you will land directly on my website. The name of my company is MetaHelm. So don't be surprised if you see the MetaHelm logo show up. You're in the right spot. And that's my digital home. And you can find more about who I am. You can download my ebook the ebook version of my book that I just talked about. And connect with me. Please send me messages. Say hello.
I love it. Well, again, I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate the support too of checking out the Success Chronicles. I've been looking forward to this interview. So again, thank you. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you so much, Chip. Your podcast is amazing. And I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.